Well, hello everyone. This is my first time going live. I am so excited. I decided that I wanted to share my book in a different way. Some of you may or may not know, I am the author of the book Pimpette Chronicles, a modern Black woman's guide to dating safely and navigating these mean streets. It is the only dating guide that focuses on dating safely. All too often, we think about love and marriage and all the fun parts that go into dating, but we don't really give enough attention to the safety aspects. So that's why I wrote my book. So what I will be doing on this channel is I will be reading sections of the book. I do not have an audiobook. I do not plan on having an audiobook anytime soon. So what I decided to do is just start, from the beginning and just reading from there. And whoever wants to hang out and listen to it can, and whoever don't have to. But yeah, I just thought this was a good way of me also refamiliarizing myself with the book because I'm working on my second book as we speak and also getting the message out there. So this is what we will be doing. I will be going live once a week. I'm going to try to stick to Sundays. I might do it twice a week, but I'm not making any promises. But as of right now, I am going to go live once a week, and I will start from the beginning of this book and go all the way to the end. That is the plan. The book is available at on Amazon. So you can order the book on Amazon. It's also available at the 27th Letter Bookstore in Detroit, Michigan. It's also available on Barnes and Noble and Madu Bookstore in Atlanta. So if you stay in any of those cities that have those bookstores, you can purchase yours there, or you can just order it online. Again, the name of the book is Pimpette Chronicles, a modern Black woman's guide to dating safely and navigating these mean streets. I'm not going to say how much of the book I will read each time because I don't know myself. It depends on how much time I have and how it feels, et cetera, et cetera. So we're going to start off with, I'm not going to do the introduction because who wants to do that? But you know what? Actually, we are going to do the introduction because you can always skip it if you don't want to listen to it. So let's start off with the introduction. This book is approximately almost 200 pages long. And just a little backstory, I wrote this book in 31 days. Yes, 31 days. I wrote the first copy of this book, and it was 48,000 words, which absolutely amazed me because I didn't even know that I could write like that. I never had an interest in really writing a book. I've always written poems and short stories. I've even written a screenplay, but I had no idea that I could write a book. But I am very pleased with the outcome. I've been having a lot of fun with it and, getting really good feedback. Right now on Amazon, I think my stars are like a 4.9. So let's dig into it, okay? And oh, Lord have mercy, it's going to be so much fun. Okay, I'm just so excited. What makes one an authority on dating? Nowadays, we are bombarded by podcasts, self help books, self proclaimed social media experts, memes, and other attention seeking sources. Many are not designed or interested in addressing the challenges of everyday Black women living in the average Black, or if you prefer, African American community. These influencers rarely acknowledge how diverse many of our social, economic, and cultural differences are, and their perspectives may not fit into your reality. Modern mainstream media often presents unrealistic expectations of what a compatible partner may look like in your own community. Since some believe there are severe shortages of eligible Black men for reasons which include mass incarceration, homosexuality, unemployment, or underemployment, Black women, no matter what their socioeconomic status, are left chasing behind that same handful of what our communities may consider a catch. First, let's acknowledge that communities and how they define an eligible man are as diverse as everyone. Some of us may come from a Southern rooted background, while others may have more Northern influences. Even in today's society, which is deeply impacted by the things we consume virtually, where we live ultimately affects how we choose our mates. With these facts and others, this book is most suitable for women living in the Midwest area, or any major predominantly Black neighborhood or big city across the US. It is also the author's belief, that's me, that this book could be used anywhere there is a higher woman to man ratio in the United States. Although this book is written from the perspective and views of a Black woman, it can be useful to any woman who has found herself stumbling while dating during the COVID-19 pandemic and its aftermath. The purpose of this book is to provide the average hetero or bisexual woman with a basic guide to help ensure that she can navigate through the dating world with clarity, knowledge, safety, confidence, and most importantly, power. This book flows from the experiences and beliefs of the author, sometimes juxtaposed or aligned with the beliefs of her peers, community, matriarchs, grandparents, aunts, uncles, etc. The stories and characters are fictional, and uh, any similarities to real persons are coincidental. This book is also supported by research and development done by scholarly sources and all. As these groups and elders have professed, the players change, but the game stays the same. Okay, Chapter 1, The Paradigm Shift. When I was a little girl, I often heard that the world was coming to an end. I'd stay up late wondering if I could live to see the next morning. Even as a young woman, I would become uneasy whenever the next self proclaimed prophet would start with the warnings. I am embarrassed to say that I was completely terrified and convinced the world was ending on New Year's Eve 1999. After all, Prince had even wrote a song about it. I have since learned not to believe everything I hear, even when it comes from what appears to be a reputable source. Instead, I now let my intuition lead me to this freeing feeling that has left me with so much clarity. The more I have allowed myself to be led by my own intuition, the more successful I have become in my endeavors. I've often heard that the new millennium is the millennium of the woman. Some even believe that women will rule for the next 1,000 years. Judging by the fact that the United States has its first, quote, Black woman vice president, and just recently the US Supreme Court confirmed Ketanji Brown Jackson as our first Black woman justice, my intuition tells me that this will come to pass, but probably not in my lifetime, and definitely not without some real and immediate change. The growing leader the growing leadership of women is not just apparent in the US, but also in many other countries around the world. Since men have done such an awesome job at ruling the world, insert sarcasm here, it is only fitting that the ladies be given the same opportunity. Until most recently, for the first time in modern history, women had more control over their bodies, reproduction, finances, financing, and garnering the right to pick and choose who they mate with and ultimately bear children by. As a result, lawmakers have been on a mission for decades to roll back reproductive rights, and with the reversal of Roe versus Wade for Black women, these changes will create even more challenges in our communities. As Black women began forced, okay, said that wrong. As Black women being forced to assimilate into a patriarchal society, we often fall victim to the rules and government that are most likely foreign to the core of some of our DNA. I use the word some because we are mixed people from various ethnic groups that were kidnapped from our motherland. Science has already proven that DNA has memory. I suspect there are valid and numerous reasons why we clash with our males when they attempt to dominate us. For one, history has revealed that many political systems in pre capitalist Africa were either matriarchal or matrilineal. So it simply does not always feel natural for us to blindly follow behind our men, which may explain the constant turmoil many of us find ourselves in. Not to mention that not all men are equipped to lead, but I digress. That is a conversation for another book. In addition to our souls dealing with memory, Black men in the United States hold so little power, it is no surprise that they are grasping at the power they hold over their women. Many are perfectly comfortable with claims of wanting to empower Black people, but then turn a blind eye to the things they do to depower the Black woman. Resistance is futile, isn't it? While discussing what can be described as a paradigm shift, Detroit based community organizer Kwasi Akwamu stated the following: There has been a significant change in gender relations for some years now. When society began to open up to greater participation of women, it created a shift in self awareness of the woman, greater confidence, goal centeredness, and a form of independence that didn't neatly fit in a traditional paradigm men are taught. A greater number of men are stuck in a state of confusion, being unable to relate to the new woman who lacks the shackles of dependency. Some applaud, and others shrink in fear of their ability to meet her as an equal. Women are not always gentle in asserting their new aspirations, freedoms, and state of dependence. Ultimately, we must rediscover one another on new terms, respecting and learning one another as whole human beings who select companions on a fresh new set of terms. And lastly, we must overcome the disease influences of this society, which compromises and commodifies our relationships. Social media contributes significantly to the dysfunction of our present day relationships. I should have got some water, but I'm going to try to keep going. Indeed, social media has deeply contributed to how we view relationships and each other. Relationships are not valued partly because many of us feel like our mates are easy to replace. In public, we look for ways to appear to have it all together in hopes of gaining the approval of our peers, whether real or virtual. But we seldom work as hard at keeping our mates happy. Ain't that the truth? With all the challenges we experience while living in this matrix and our new reality, it has become difficult to meet and connect with a partner. Most people are entirely too preoccupied, selfish, and distracted to skillfully face the task of focusing on one person at a time. Often we start with high hopes, and as soon as that person does not fit into our agenda, we quickly move on. It is clear that relationship goals and priorities will never be as they were decades ago. And in some regard, that is definitely a good thing. To embrace our new reality, we must have a new objective. As modern women living in the United States, it is our time to move ourselves toward a position of power. Okay, this is going to be hard. Okay, first section is Am I Ready to Date? I know you are gorgeous, sexy, and confident, and any man would be lucky to have you. But before one can make herself available to a potential mate, you must first ask yourself, are you dateable? Before you ask, is he? This is a time to take a good, honest look at yourself to ensure that you have dealt with or are dealing with your issues in a way that will not affect the potential relationship. As women, we are good at looking at a man to decide whether or not he is worth our attention, but how many of us first look in the mirror? There are some basic things that all men with any minute amount of common sense will look for in a potential long term mate. And for you to ensure that you are always treated like a priority instead of an option, let's make sure that you have them. Okay, the first thing, do I have a steady income or source of money? Did you know that most men prefer that their potential mates have some source of income when they meet and throughout the courtship? This shows that a woman can take care of the household if they were able to become a family, if he is not able to do so for whatever reason. This also balances out the power dynamics in the relationship. Some believe that men respect women more when they aren't. Okay, let's say that again. Some believe that men respect women more when they aren't completely reliant on them. There are, of course, exceptions to the rule as the relationship progresses more toward a family. But in this book, the focus remains on the dating stages while touching on the beginning aspects of being in a partnership. For our purposes, we are examining relationships from for our purposes, we are examining relationships from a traditional household where the man will usually become the breadwinner. We all about tradition over here, y'all. We understand that all households function differently, but even in today's modern society, most men, when asked, enjoy being able to provide for their partner and eventually for his family. Only those who are unable to do so are usually the ones to seek mates wishing to share a 50-50 of the expenses. Let me repeat that. Only those who are unable to do so are usually the men to seek mates wishing to share a 50-50 of the expenses. Please keep in mind that studies continue to show that even when a woman works outside the home, the bulk of the household chores and raising the children will fall on the mother. Keep that in mind when y'all get into these 50-50 relationships. Just for the record, I am not an advocate for that. Okay, next section. Am I emotionally mature? Okay, with that note, I'm going to take a very quick break and get me some water. I think I got some water somewhere. I got my witchy outfit on today. I love black. Black is just so sleek and sexy to me. Alrighty. Okay. Am I emotionally mature? So this section actually has some. Oh, you can't really see it, I don't think. Can you see it? No, you can't see it. I got a lot of light on here. Let me see something about this light because I don't know if I got it on the right. Hold on, y'all. This is a weird view of me. Just bear with me. Hmm. I don't know. Whatever. We're going to go with it for now. Okay. Am I emotionally mature? Sadly, too many of us have grown up in households where we have experienced situations where emotional or physical abuse has occurred at least on one occasion. I know this is an ugly topic and no one likes to talk about it, let alone read about it, but the shit is real. It would be a huge disservice if we were to dismiss this common relationship problem as if every companionship was going to be filled with rainbows and butterflies. These abusive relationships are brought on by the inability to resolve conflict in a healthy way, which could erupt in physical abuse on either end. Remember, women can be and often are abusers too. Although the cases where women abuse men are significantly less in comparison, we must still acknowledge that the pendulum swings both ways. To reduce the likelihood of you being the catalyst in a domestic dispute, here are some things to ask yourself before you meet Mr. Right. I just want to reiterate that I believe in addressing self first. So the beginning of the book is very self, like we're doing a reflection of ourself. Because I feel like if you have your shit together, the wrong type of man is not even going to be able to be in your presence. So you won't have as many issues. So once you're together, you won't even attract that type of man. You won't even entertain that type of man. So that's why it's so important to look at self. Okay. So here we go. How do I react to conflict? Do I yell or scream? Do I think it is normal or okay to call a man out of his name or belittle him when I'm angry? Do I hit or throw things? Do I hit or throw things at people? Do I have trouble controlling my temper or emotions in a way that can become dangerous to myself and others? Do I enjoy emasculating or attacking his manhood? How do I react when my feelings are hurt? Is my first reaction to strike back? I have that bad. I ain't gonna lie. I'm still working on it. Do I simply withdraw and run away from the person? How do I react when he shows emotion? Am I usually dismissive or can I be attentive? If you find yourself thinking yes when you should be thinking no, this is a time to confront and correct those bad habits before you meet and chase away a potential good catch, not check. We don't chase away checks. A potential good catch. At no stage in life will any of us ever be perfect, but the goal is to strive to be the best version of ourselves so that we can be a gift, not a curse to our future mates. Below are some indications that you are emotionally mature. You discuss your feelings in a calm, mature way as well as listen to him. You can express how you feel, give the other person a chance to remediate the issue, and allow for forgiveness depending on the severity of the offense. We're not talking about no abuse like physical abuse because no, we don't forgive that. You do not bring up past mistakes once they are confronted and dealt with. You are open, honest, and do not intentionally play games with emotions or feelings. You do not, under any circumstances, let's say that again. You do not, under any circumstances, ever intentionally emasculate his manhood or throw anything in his face that he has shared with you in confidence. This is one of the things that women like to do that I hear men complain about a lot of times. Like they'll share something terrible that happened to them, and then the woman will throw it in their face. And I know men do that too. So that pendulum swings both ways as well. Okay. And lastly, you can walk away if you see that you are not on the same page as he is without attacking his character or point of view. Yes, sometimes you will need to throw that fish back in the pond, no matter how tasty it may be. On paper, this all sounds simple, but in practice, it may be hard for some while easy for others. If you find yourself stepping out of character, it's okay to take a break and return to a discussion or issue later when you are calm and clear headed. Just calmly let your partner know that you would like to revisit at another date. Assure him that you are not avoiding but are not in a state of mind required to objectively address the problem. Remember, sometimes the way that we handle things as women are affected by our menstrual cycle and hormones. Yes, this is a reality. If you notice you are becoming moody or easily angered, check the dates on your period tracker to see where you are and log those emotions. After a while, you may see a pattern. For older ladies who are peri or premenopausal or menopausal, constantly work to keep yourself in check since hormones fluctuate erratically during this time. Be mindful that some male companions will use the knowledge of how our hormones work as an excuse for him being dismissive or disrespectful. I am not bringing this up to suggest that you silence yourself or allow yourself to be silenced, but to simply acknowledge that we are all still just mammals and our biological functions affect every aspect of our lives, including how we communicate. Please note, not moat, please note that most men, no matter how old, will sometimes behave like spoiled little managed boys. So always maintain your composure, be cool, yet speak firmly when putting a brother in check. I should not have lit this incense. It's bothering my chest. I won't do that next time. Okay, so in the book I have like, oh, I'm in 22 minutes. I'm just gonna go a little bit longer here because my daughter is calling me. But in the book, I have different exhibits and examples. So when I pick up on the next reading, I'm actually going to take a little break here and I'm going to go into this. Let's see how much longer we get in this chapter. Oh, we don't have that much longer. So I'm going to try to get through chapter 1, but it's going to be a 2-part video. So yeah, just bear with me. We're going to go into exhibit A, which will be an example, and then we're going to get through chapter 1. Thanks for joining me. And again, my name is Tinisha Brugnone, and we are reading Pimpette Chronicles.